Long time no see. I know. It's been a minute. I'm also super shiny because I just came from outside and exploring and doing what I usually do here in Miami, which is get outside. It is super nice today. It was like, no, it is like 90 degrees. So had to go outside and enjoy that and get some brunch. So that's why I look a little bit put together today. So we are back. I don't have any excuses. Life hits. 2022 has been crazy, but we're gonna end amazingly, period. So the last time I left off here, I talked about reasons to move to Florida, specifically Miami, and now I'm going to tell you reasons not to move. This video was always a video I didn't want to do, but now that I've lived here for almost a year, I can honestly make this video because there are cons to living here, just like anything in life has pros and cons. So let's just jump right into it. One reason not to move here, and some of y'all may have experienced this in other big cities if you live in big cities or come from big cities, but I'm not gonna lie, I am not here for it here, and that is the overcrowded stores. I don't know what it is about Miami, y'all, but it is so hard to grocery shop in peace. Like, there are lines for days. I remember being in a Walmart line for like an hour, and I remember being like, everyone's here with like more than one person, and they're like, you know, what you call it, they're like conversing and everything, and it hit me. I was like, they're programmed to this, they're used to this, they know they're gonna have to wait an hour in line, so the best thing to do is to bring a +1, so you can practically have a date in the Walmart line. Literally, like, just don't even bother getting ice cream. It's gonna melt unless you're gonna do a date in the Walmart line. Like, this is just the vibes that it gives here. Even grocery stores like Aldi's takes forever, and Aldi's is small, so can you imagine more crampedness in a smaller store, whereas Walmart's obviously bigger? Long story short, I just don't like it. Even when I go to the little island stores, bodegas and all that stuff, it is just always crowded, and it's like, bro, Compare would never do this to me. Yeah, I don't like it. Y'all try me with that. So yeah, the overcrowded stores is a no. Even the malls, you guys, I have been to crowded malls, but wow, the malls here is insane. Like, I don't go to the mall at all. There's always sales, there's always things I need to get. I rather go to a Ross or a Burlington any day over going to the mall because it is so packed. It's like and it's actually the second most visited mall here in Miami that I go to, but it's just like there's always people. Like, you know, like back up north in CT, there's a certain hour you don't go to the mall because it's usually when the teenagers come out, usually at night, you know, you stay home or you just get something and go. But no, I mean, I can't even really walk in peace at the malls here. It is literally like it is like New York traffic jam at these malls here in Miami. It's ridiculous. I'm speechless. I don't even have anything else to say. I don't like that either, period. Moving on once again. The flooding, it floods here like a mofo. It is ridiculously insane. It is ridiculous how much it floods here. However, I will say, to combat the flooding goes away very quickly. But you know how like up north in CT, or you know, even in New York, when it rains, the rain doesn't stick to the floor, just boom boom pow. No, in Miami, you'll be driving in the right lane and all of a sudden there's a whole river, like a whole lake, not even a river, a lake, and now you have to go to the left because the lake is all submerged in the right lane. What's really cool about that though is their flooding does dry up kind of quick, but still, like, can you imagine just driving if there's just obstacles? And that leads me to the next huge, this was the one that really would have, like, it really almost made me rethink the move, because I was like, I know I'm going to miss this because in Connecticut I don't have to deal with this as badly. Driving, I can make a whole video on driving. I'm gonna try to keep this short. It is horrible. It is like a GTA mission driving here, driving to work, driving anywhere. Honestly, I got into my first car accident here and I'm not surprised. I literally was like, I would get my first car accident here out of the 5 years that I've been driving. Like, it would happen. And honestly, long story short, I got hit. And literally, I got hit. I was just driving, I got hit. And as soon as I come out the car, the guy looks at me and goes, "What happened?" I would like to know too. That's literally what I told him. I said, well, I would like to know what happened too. I was just driving, trying to go home, but now I'm not home. I'm here. Anyways, that's another interesting story time for another time. But it's just the fact that people here are so weird with their driving. They're either indecisive, they're either driving too slow. What kills me here the most is the fact that the left lane drives slower than the right lane. Like, did y'all not get your license and get, like, read the permit booklet? Like, what's going on? But, you know, it's a little sus here, getting a license versus Connecticut. Like, you know, they take that seriously. Here, it's like anybody can get their license or their permit and drive with their permit for a long time. Because I do know people older than me who still drive with their permit. Like, could never do that for that long in CT. But I digress. The driving here is horrible. There's always construction. There's always potholes. There's always indecisive drivers. Did I say construction? There's just always something, y'all. Like, seriously, there's always car accidents. Like, I think one day going to work, I drove past 3 car accidents in like the span of like 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. No, not 10, 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. I was like, it's not even noon. It's not even noon. And there's already all these accidents. One time, I think I still have a screenshot. I took a picture of my maps but why did I take a picture of my maps, you guys? I took a picture of my maps because all I saw over my maps was like 20 to 30 car accidents in every vicinity in that moment. And I was just like, yeah, welcome to Miami. So the driving here is atrocious. I would rather drive in Boston and New York City any day than Miami. But what I will tell you is I've driven in Orlando, and that's the one time I said, bring me back in Miami. Because driving in Orlando was more annoying because the lanes are more congested and smaller and tighter. There's more lanes, and then people are way more indecisive there. And then there's not much left turning lanes compared to like in Miami. There's a lot of left turning lanes. That's a really good pro. I will say to combat that con is they have a lot more left lanes than CT and stuff like that. Because in CT we just make our left, but here there's a left lane at every, you know, place you could think of, especially major boulevards and streets and stuff, you know. So yeah, lower pay. I think everyone knows, you know, not the stereotype, but just how it works. Up north is always gonna pay higher than the south. The south is just known to be cheap and cheaper. The only issue is Florida's cheap with their pay, but high with everything else. Like, literally when the gas prices increase, Miami wasted no time to make that $4 and up. Even toll, like there's a toll here for every like 2 to 3 exits. It is insane. The express lane's the same way. I don't even take the express lane because 1, that thing is ridiculous. 2, the lanes are further apart. 3, everyone's going 90 plus. But 4, there's even more tolls if you take the express lane. But it's insane how many express lanes that there are. It's insane. That's all I have to say. Another thing that is a con, it's also a pro, but it's a con, is bilingualism. If you do not speak more than 1 language, it is also harder to get a job here. There are so many jobs that I'm qualified for to the T, for example, but I just couldn't get at the time because I didn't speak anything but English. Mi español es mal, pero soy aprendiendo. I can understand it to an extent, but don't ask me to translate for you. That is where I'm going to, yeah, I will give you a lot of Spanglish, but that's okay. I'll do it proudly. But other than that, everyone here either speaks, you know, Haitian Creole or Creole and Spanish. And honestly, I never felt so much more disappointed in myself with languages than moving here. And even with my dad, because my dad speaks Creole, Antillean Creole. So I'm like, dude, like, you should have taught me this. I'd be getting more pay right now. So that is the con. If you do not speak another language, it is hard. It's harder, especially to get jobs here. Moving on with that. Another con, everyone is moving here. I feel like it kind of slowed down, but it's also getting right back up again because COVID is still a thing. I think everyone's moving here for like the vibe and just the island vibes that you can't always get overseas just because of COVID and everything that's going on in the world. I need to silence my phone. Oh my god. But yeah, everyone is moving here and you see it. Like, every license plate is ridiculous. I've seen a lot of Texas plates. I've literally been seeing a lot of California plates. They're the most interesting drivers. I don't like driving behind them. They be doing some random stuff out of nowhere. Texas drivers drive with a vengeance and with anger. And New Yorkers just be there. I feel like the best drivers here are people from Georgia, but maybe that's because Georgia's like not down the street, but like right there, you know what I mean? But yeah, no. Another con are the gators and snakes. I'm not gonna lie to you, this one I'm just putting on here for the fun of it. I have yet to really, you know, I'm not even gonna fully finish the sentence because I'm, you know, knock on a whole bunch of wood, but I have never really experienced that stuff. But that is a thing, especially no, I can't say that, especially in the more hilly, valley-ish country areas, I would say. But no, there's a lot of geckos, if you know, so you're gonna see like iguanas and geckos. But that's the most I've seen. You do see interesting raccoons. I call them light-skinned raccoons because they're like a brown, almost giving you a fox, but they're not. But yeah, their raccoons are interesting. And I don't know, like they have regular raccoons and then they got like these light-skinned brownish raccoons, and I'm like, huh? And they're like, yeah. Anyway, that's Florida, so what you gonna expect. Another con that I don't have on here is the scamming. The scamming here will eat you alive. Like my friend got scammed $100 here. I technically got scammed $100 from hair, getting my hair done. Even just recently after my accident, just going to urgent care and just knowing that you should not do that. Don't do that. Go to a hospital. Just so many things that these people are supposed to tell you no, and they tell you come on in, the gang's all here, and they just take your money. So just be careful. I mean, I think I've heard that they were known for that, but I feel like scamming is anywhere. Like New York, scamming central as well. Like, not surprised, but just beware. It's really easy to get scammed there, especially as a tourist, and Miami's known for its tourism too. So just be on the lookout for people who just, you know, come up to you and stuff. No, it's a scam. The trains and boats, that's another thing too about driving here. There are railroad, like, you know how there's railroad tracks up north, but like they barely really go on and mess up, you know, your day-to-day driving. No, down here it messes up your day-to-day driving. Like even today I just drove through one that was flashing red and blinking, but the lane thingy stayed up, so everybody's just like, do we go? And then eventually everybody just started to speed up because, you know, they don't get hit by a train. But I say this to say there are just so many times I will get somewhere on time, and depending on what type of train it is, a train could be as fast as 60 seconds or it could be as long as 10 minutes. Seriously, it's ridiculous. And the boats are the worst, because the boats that will actually take you 10 to 15 minutes because they're actually opening up the dock like 7 minutes prior to the boat actually getting to that point. So you're gonna be on that. I've been late to so many things. Let me not say so many things. I've been late to maybe, or almost late to a couple of things too because of a boat. One time the boat bridge stayed up so long, I just had to turn back, bro. It was like 30 minutes y'all in, and I was like, guess this is the end. And then one time a train got stuck, and that was the day that tested my knowledge of how to drive in Miami without a GPS, in a sense. And I was really able to get to work that day without having a GPS on, because I figured my GPS would have led me back to like different points where the train was. But yeah, I hope I'm not going off on a tangent too much, but it's like there's just so many examples and stories to go with these points where I feel like y'all need to know all the tea. So I wanted to give y'all that. The reason I feel like you should not move to Florida if you are a Caribbean gal, there's not enough island spots. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, you just stop the cap. No, there's not. Listen, even in CT, as small of a state as it is, we have a Jamaican spot like every block, like no exaggeration. And I feel like there's not enough Jamaican, Trinidad, there's just not a lot of West Indian and like Caribbean spots. There's a lot of Haitian food spots, respect, but no, I don't always want Haitian food. I want my jerk chicken, I want my curry shrimp, I want it all. Like, I'm sorry. So that's one thing I don't like about Miami. And I was just talking about that today because at brunch I was like, man, why isn't there more, like, you know? And then you have to go to like out of Miami a little bit to get more Caribbean spots, and I'm like, that's not fair. Like, this is Miami, how are there not a lot? And there's still a couple, like there's still a few, definitely. I just came from one today as well, but it's just I'm used to there being like many, plentiful, like a lot, not just 5 or 3. and then you have to go outside of Miami for the other really good ones. Like, no. So yes, I should do actually a video on food spots. Y'all comment that if y'all want me to do a video on food spots here in Miami, because I definitely got some good ones. Third point, and this was another reason too I really was so hesitant with moving down south, is just their weird laws. But you guys already know the two states with the weirdest laws, I think everyone knows, is Texas and Florida. Like, you need to look up Florida's laws. Like, there's laws for elephants, there's laws when you should, like, about being naked. There is laws after like 6 p.m. like you just can't do that in terms of being naked. There's laws, there's just like the weirdest laws, and I'm like, why are these laws? Like, what are y'all doing down here? So sometimes I just gotta, like, when I see drivers drive weird here, I'm like, can it get mad? Because it's just so, this is just a weird state. It just is weird. But yeah, the politics is already sus, you already know. And then the weird laws is just, you know, and then of course you have the racism. But what I will say with Miami is Miami's just the one spot that is just a melting pot of cultures. Like, even the policemen, they're majority of the time of color. So it's very interesting. Racism is always going to be everywhere. So I just had to tell myself that, because I was scared to move down south because of that. I'm not gonna lie, you know, like, it's everywhere. But we all know the history of the South and Southern racism. Like, I just feel like you could just see the racism on people's face. Like, I feel like up north sometimes you have to just guess, but maybe they're racist. No, down here I feel like people read it on their face. So I think, you know, that's the reputation that the Southern racism gets, which I think is kind of hilarious. But yes. And one of my last points, again, is just the inflation overall in Miami. It is insane how much more expensive things are getting. The high rent, I'm not even gonna lie to you, that one is like number one right now out of the traffic and roads, because that is insane to me how much rent has increased. Like, if you don't know, the average rent paid here now is like 17 something. It's crazy. So I definitely thought about moving back to CT, because I was like, well, I might as well move to New York. But then I had to remind myself, you know what, no income tax, there's still a lot of pros here, warmer weather, so I have to, you know. But for a second they almost had me, because I feel like with any state right now, because we're all going through the inflation and high rent, I feel like the rent gotta go. If the rent's going up, so is the salary. You can't have the rent going up and the salary still all the way down here. That just makes no sense. At the moment, those are all my reasons to not move to Florida or Miami specifically. Do what you will with both my videos. Definitely watch the video on reasons to move to Florida, because that one I feel like is a very good one, an interesting one, and I definitely try to pick a lot of points that other videos haven't really pointed out and things like that. So I really wanted to give y'all a variety of different things. And same with this one. I really wanted to do things and say things more than just traffic and stuff like that. I really wanted to give y'all the tea and the rundown. So ask me questions, comment below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, you guys, we are out. Adios.